Welcome back to yoga and bringing yoga into our daily lives. We've been working on the 8 limbs of yoga, and the first one is the 5 yamas. So as we come to practice our 5 yamas, we always are being kind with Ahimsa. We make conscious effort to rise above the urge to judge, criticize, and compare. Then we practice being virtuous and truthful with ourselves and others through Satya. We practice slowing down, filtering, and carefully considering our words, thoughts, and actions. With Asteya, we found balance between giving and receiving. We practice having gratitude for all that we currently have and rejoicing in the way things are right now. Then we practice moderation through the senses and learn to manage our sensory cravings with Brahmacharya. We focus on seeing everything and everyone as an expression of universal consciousness, recognizing we're all children of the universe. Now we learn Aparigraha, non-attachment, where we keep our desires and possessions to what is necessary and important, depending on one's life stage and context. We can practice Aparigraha by cleaning out the clutter, liberating our closets and our energy, by getting rid of the things you don't need. Forgive yourself, forgive others, and always forgive everyone. Another good way to practice Aparigraha is through observing nature, coming back to appreciation and gratitude as we do yoga together. Our crown chakra focuses on letting go of attachments. So we'll be doing our bija mantra for the crown chakra, the sound of the universe, Om. So come with me as we step into our place, whether we're standing, sitting, lying down, does not matter right now. So just coming back to center for a moment to our low dantian. Let's roll the shoulders back. Start to tuck the abs in, lifting up the pelvic floor, lifting and squeezing towards the spine as we lift all the way up through the crown of the head. Nice deep breaths. Let's take a moment to close the eyes. Breathing in and out of the nose. Deepening and elongating the breath. So as we centered ourselves here, as we relaxed, we drew back into our inner world here. We're back. Let's go ahead and move into our bija mantra, Om. Inhale to Om. Inhale to Om. Last one. Inhale to Om. Now just taking deep breaths. You can keep the eyes closed for a moment. And just allowing that vibration that we created within. Feel the difference on how we feel. And let's start to gently open the eyes. So if we're on our feet, let's find softness within the knees. Let's find our hip width distance apart. Inhaling, let's bring it up and over. And exhale, release. Starting to bring that breath in and out the nose. Inhale, lengthening up. And exhale, releasing. On our next inhale, we're going to bring the gaze up. And as we exhale, let's release back down, and we're going to come hinging forward. Whether we're sitting or standing, we can hinge forward at the hips. Keep a nice flat back. Let's bring our hands to right above the knees. Keep those knees soft. Nice flat back as we lengthen from hips to crown. And let's exhale. If we can, start to round through the back or release and let go, letting the arms move all the way down. Let's inhale, start to come back up with a flat back. Let's press into the heels, soft knees, tighten the glutes as we hinge up and over. Inhaling. And let's exhale, release. We're going to come all the way down to the ground. So for those of us that are standing, let's come to one side of the mat and inhale, lengthen up. Those of us sitting can still inhale, lengthen up, and exhale, forward fold, swan dive all the way down. So those of us that are sitting might forward fold while we're sitting. And then let's release, bring it down to our downward facing dog. Take a moment here, take a nice deep breath. Let's exhale into our plank. Those of us on the ground now, we can start to move all the way back into our child's pose. So coming all the way back into child's pose, finding a comfortable child's pose here for a moment. And while we find that comfortable child's pose, if we happen to have stacked arms, stacked hands, let's bring our forehead right down on those stacked arms and hands. Allow to relax as we look one direction. And then we're going to allow the forehead to roll across the arm hands as we look the opposite direction. Nice slow motion as we move through the neck, looking from side to side, taking our time. And let's start to come back up to all fours. As we come into all fours, let's find our cat-cow. So dropping the spine, rolling the shoulders back, lifting through the tailbone, the crown as we inhale. Feel that expansion breath. And then we're going to exhale to a compressing breath. Navel to spine, chin into chest. Inhale, coming into cow. Expanding. Let's exhale, compress into cat. Inhale, cow. Exhaling, cat. Inhale, cow. And exhale, cat. Let's go ahead and inhale, lengthen, coming into camel, drawing up and over. Exhale, let's bring our hands behind the back, interlace the fingers. Let's gently, if we can, hinge back, glutes to heels like we would for our child's pose. Take a nice deep breath as we shine the heart forward and up, gazing up. And then we're going to exhale, hinge at the hips, allow the heart to move forward, down with the head all the way down to our child's pose. And then let's take the arms, extending them up and off the back as we draw them forward. Taking nice deep breaths here as we have chest expansion mixed with our child's pose. And let's exhale. Release. Coming back up to all fours here. Let's inhale, spinal balance. One arm, one leg. Remember, they're opposites. We're dorsiflexing that lengthened foot out, so the heel is the longest point. Let's go ahead and exhale, release that. Switching to the opposite side. Inhale, finding that balance as we stretch and lengthen. Exhale, let's release. Inhale, spinal balance. Exhale. Inhale, other side, spinal balance. Exhale, compress the abs as we bring our leg and hand back down. Inhale, lengthen out. Exhale, release. Inhale, lengthen out. Exhale, release. Let's bring ourselves all the way down to the glutes. We want to come into our boat pose. So we're finding balance and strength in our core and our boat pose. So let's find hip width distance apart, feet into the ground. And maybe while the knees are bent, gently rocking side to side for a moment. Feeling that balance between the sitting bones, the pressure evening out. And once we have it, we have an option here. We can bring hands back and bring the feet coming up. Just make sure that we have a nice flat back. Shoulders are rolled back. We have those tight abs. Fingers point forward for this. You can have bent knees. You can have lengthened legs all the way out. Let's bring it back down, and as we do, hands over the tops of the knees. We're going to inhale, roll those shoulders back, squeeze the scapulas together as we lift through the heart, lift the gaze. Feeling that expansion. Let's exhale, coming back. This time, if you would like to try a little bit more, another option to boat or to our bent leg boat is just hanging on to the backs of the legs. Still rolling those shoulders back, nice flat back, heart is lifted, abs are tucked in. You can always extend all the way out in your balance. Let's go ahead and release back down, whether hands are on the floor or hands on the legs. Let's bring the hands back to the knees. Roll those shoulders back, squeeze, activate those shoulder blades as we squeeze back to the midline, lifting heart, lifting gaze. And let's exhale, coming back into our boat pose. Your choice in boat pose. Another option here is to lengthen those arms, fingertips straight forward. And let's exhale again, grab a hold of those knees. This time we're going to come into cat. So chin into chest, navel to spine, round it back. And then let's inhale, lengthen back up. We roll the shoulders back, squeeze the scapulas, press the heart forward, up, gaze up. And let's exhale. As we exhale, let's come all the way to the ground for a moment. Squeeze knees into chest here. We're going to continue with our core. So as we have knees squeezed into chest, let's start to relax the upper torso, head, neck, and shoulders. Allow the feet to come all the way down, hip width distance apart. Ground through the feet, palms ground. Roll those shoulders back, squeeze scapulas together, and let's inhale, lift the hips for a modified bridge. And let's exhale, release. Take a nice deep breath. Let's inhale, lift those hips. And exhale, letting go, back down. Inhale, let's lift the hips. Nice deep breaths here. Keep in tune with our breath. Exhale, release. All right, inhale, lift the hips. Let's stabilize here. Press the palms into the ground. Lengthen out one leg just from the knee. Point the toes. Let's release that foot back down. Lift the hips a little higher and extend through the opposite leg. Bring that foot back down. Inhale, lift those hips. Exhale, extend through the leg. Inhale, lifting hips. Exhale, extension. Inhale, lift hips. Exhale, extension. Inhale, let's lift the hips. Last one, exhale, extension. And inhale, lift the hips. As we have those hips lifted, bring the palms underneath the glutes, the hips, palms down, and release the hips, glutes right on top of our palms, or right on top of the backs of our hands. Take a nice deep breath here. Let's tighten those abs. Exhale, knees towards the chest. Start to dorsiflex our feet, toes towards the shins. Let's inhale, lengthen legs up the wall. Heels are the longest point, toes point towards our nose. Let's inhale, slowly open into our straddle pose. And exhale, slowly bring it back to hip width distance apart. Inhale, opening, we're moving slower. Keeping length through the knees, toes tucked in towards our shins. Exhale. Back into hip width distance apart. Abs engaged. Inhale, let's open back up to straddle. Exhale. And let's start to bend those knees back towards the chest. Point the toes away from us. Inhale. We're coming into that modified boat that we just did. So remember, extension of the legs, toes point, extending through the knees, flat back and pressed into the floor, abs active. Let's bring the knees back towards the chest. Dorsiflex the feet. And move the legs back up the wall. Inhale. And let's exhale, knees to chest. Point those toes, inhale, boat pose. Exhale, knees to chest. Dorsiflex the feet. Inhale, legs up the wall. Exhale, let's go ahead and open straddle. Keep it here on an inhale. And exhale, let's start to bring it back to hip width distance apart. Start to bend those knees. Let's release the feet back into the ground and inhale, lift the hips back into our modified bridge as we release the hands back to our sides. And let's exhale, release all the way down. Let's go ahead and inhale, starting to lift those feet. Keep the back flat, abs engaged. Find tabletop, knees to hip alignment. Tabletop also has the shins as being the top of the table. Dorsiflex the feet. Try and press out low back so you don't have the arch of the low back. Lifting, we're trying to press it down into the mat. Let's start to open the arms, palms up, and exhale. Let's release the tabletop legs to one side. Just barely tapping on the ground. We're going to inhale back to center. Exhale, releasing to the other side. Inhale, coming back to center. Exhale, release. Inhale, center. Exhale, release. Inhale, center. Let's rotate palms face down while we have the tabletop. Lengthen those legs up the wall and open up to straddle. As we open up to straddle, this time we're taking our hands, let's bring them to the inside of the legs and try and rotate so that the toes face towards our head. We have dorsiflexion. Let's take another deep breath and straddle, and then we're going to exhale. Start to lift the head, start to lift the shoulders, and then elongate all the way through the fingertips. As you're in a crunch-like position here, while we're in straddle pose, your abs may be shaking a little bit. Make sure that we're keeping an eye on the breath, that we're inhaling and exhaling. And let's exhale, soften, bend those knees. And as we have those knees bent, let's try and bring them to the side. So we're relaxing the torso again. Knees come to each side of the body, dorsiflex the feet. Take two peace fingers, grab the big toes, try and keep the torso, head, neck, shoulders on the ground. As we come into our happy baby, we're starting to stack knees and ankles. Feet towards the ceiling, quads and knees beside us. Nice deep breaths here. If you're completely grounded in your happy baby, then you can move gently side to side. Feeling that lengthen, the low back, giving yourself a little bit of a low back massage here. All right, gently starting to release all the way back down. As we release back down, let's move to our side in fetal position for a moment. Tuck those knees in. Give yourself a squeeze. And then as we elongate back through the spine, our knees are still bent. We're going to keep the one closest to the mat bent. You can bring your elbow in alignment with your shoulder, just as long as we're not leaning into the shoulder or resting on it. We want to press down and activate all our muscles here. Keep those abs tight, align spine from the hips. Let's take that top leg and bring knee to chest. As we bring knee to chest, our back is still flat and lengthened. We're hanging on. We're going to now bring our hand all the way down to our ankle, dorsiflex our foot. Let's start to bring that heel to the glute and knee glides towards a back wall. We're stretching that quad muscle out. And let's exhale again, knee towards the chest, hanging on to the ankle or the shin. And lengthen back out, heel to the glute, knee extends out away from us, and maybe even glide slightly back. Again, let's exhale, bring knee to chest. And inhale, lengthen it back out. Let's exhale, release that. Coming back to our backs, we're going to come around to the other side. So we're moving to our fetal position on the other side. And as we do, let's curl those knees in. Take a moment to round through the back. And then gently bring yourself up so that we have shoulder-elbow alignment. Press the forearm and hand down. Keep the knees bent. We're going to grab a hold of either the knee, the shin, the ankle here. Extend from hip all the way through the crown so we have active abs here. We're not just letting ourselves fall into the mat. We're staying pressed, active. Let's go ahead and bring knee into chest as we exhale. As we inhale, we're drawing back. Heel to glute. Exhale, bring the knee back in towards the chest. Inhale, let's lengthen out. Exhale, knee to chest. Inhale, lengthen out. And let's exhale. We're going to gently release that. Let's use our hands. Press our palms into the ground. Use arm strength as we come all the way back up. As we come all the way back up, let's find all fours. Take a nice deep breath here. Let's exhale, move into extended child's pose. Glutes to heels, arms forward, release the head. Let's go ahead and start to move forward all the way into our plank pose. Take a nice deep breath, draw those elbows in. We're gonna move through crocodiles. We keep a nice flat back. Remember, chin comes down first, then the heart, the abs, pelvis. Let's go ahead and bring our hands by each side. Roll the shoulders back, squeeze the scapula, squeeze the shoulders down and back. Lift the palms and start to lift up the upper torso, keeping the lower grounded. And remember to breathe here. Nice deep breaths. One more breath. And let's exhale. Press into the palms, lifting back up, partial plank. And let's move it all the way back into a wide-legged extended child's pose. Knees open, reach forward. Take a nice deep breath and exhale. Release the hips, those inner thighs and the low back here. To make our way up, and as we do, we're going to keep our wide legs here. Let's find shoulder width apart, expand through our fingertips here, and we're going to come to eye of the needle in this position. So we're in this position. Let's go ahead and inhale, open that arm, nice, tall, stretching, lengthen through the back. And let's exhale, eye of the needle. So we're going to draw that hand, palm up now, reaching through between the leg and the arm, reaching all the way through until that shoulder can relax down, until the head can relax down.
You can use that opposite arm for a kickstand. Try to open up those shoulders, elongate through the back. Nice deep breaths here, getting in touch and focusing on our breath. And let's exhale, press into that palm, lifting back up. Let's bring that other palm down. Remember, we're going to inhale, nice flat back, coming first up into that windmill as we reach up, palm away. Take a nice deep breath. We're going to exhale, palm faces up. And we're going to reach for that arm and leg as we come all the way back down to our mat. Shoulder comes down, head comes down. You can always use that other arm as a kickstand. Starting to stack maybe the shoulders and lengthen through the back. Let's press again through that arm. Coming all the way back up. Let's bring our knees back into hip width distance apart. Coming up into our camel. As we come up into camel here, make sure we have that hip width distance apart. Stable knees. You can always tuck toes under for balance if we need to. Let's bring fist for wrist to the low back. And start to roll those shoulders back. We're coming into the camel, so we're lifting through the heart. Remember, there's a string right here from the heart that lifts all the way up. So we're squeezing our glutes, protecting our low back as we draw shoulders back and down, squeezing towards the midline, towards our vertebrae. Lifting up through the heart. Make sure we're still breathing in and out of the nose. Let's exhale, slowly bring ourselves back up, and slowly bring ourselves all the way back into a child's pose that is comfortable for us so we can re-round the back. Coming back to center, our breath. And let's start to bring it all the way back up. Coming back to the knees, let's step one leg forward. Remember, we're going to crawl those toes a little bit forward so that our hips are squared forward. We're going to hinge. Hands can be on hips here for a moment. That other knee behind us is stable. We're pressing forward and down, making sure that knee doesn't surpass our toes, or else we would possibly cause a knee injury. So just make sure that we have alignment, that we're not bringing the knee way past our toes. Let's take the opposite arm to that bent knee, bring it down underneath the shoulder. We can keep hand on the hip as we elongate through the spine, twist and open through the shoulders, or you can bring that hand all the way up. Nice deep breaths here. And let's exhale. Bring that hand down on the other side. We're going to curl the toes of the other leg and lift the knee. As we lift the knee, let's inhale. Lengthen back like we would for pyramid. So all toes point forward, that heel starting to press down to the ground just a little bit more. We might pop that leg a little closer to this leg. And we're just inhaling, lengthening through the legs. And then exhale, let's bring that knee back down. Let's come back down into that first position. And this time, hands on the knee. Let's inhale, lengthen up. Nice deep breath here. Let's exhale, release it back down. Send that leg lengthening as the toes come up towards the ceiling, coming into our partial splits. So we're stabilizing on that opposite knee. Nice deep breaths here. Not a lot of weight on those fingertips. And let's exhale, soften, bend that knee, bring it back. Coming back to all fours, whether we have palms or fists. Let's inhale back into our cow. And exhale into our cat. Inhale into our cow. And exhale to our cat. Let's inhale, tuck in, lift up, roll those shoulders back. Squeeze the glutes, fist for wrist, drawing up again. Nice deep breaths in camel. And let's exhale. Release. As we release, take that opposite leg, drop forward. Remember, we're going to scrunch those toes so we can get a little bit more forward, so we get more openness in our psoas muscle, our hip flexors here. As we draw forward, then we're going to bring hands to hips and allow yourself to open up right here as this knee moves forward, stabilizing here. Nice deep breaths, allowing that hip to open. Let's take an exhale, opposite arm to the bent knee in front, and bring it down right underneath the shoulder. The other hand can stay on the hip. We're opening to that side though, so start to stack the shoulders, lengthen through the back, and when you're ready, you can bring that arm lengthening all the way up and palm facing away from you. And we're going to exhale and allow that opposite elbow to come in front of the other knee, pressing in to the palms, stacking shoulders, elongating through the back. Let's exhale. We're going to gently release that to an extended child's pose. So simply bring the palms forward, bring yourself forward, and exhale, release. Inhale, tuck those abs in, roll all the way up. Let's lengthen all the way up and over. Exhale, palms together, hands to heart. Take a nice deep inhale. As we exhale, let's twist. Opposite direction. Front elbow moves in front of the opposite knee. Pressing into the elbows, pressing into the palms, stacking elbows, stacking shoulders, elongating through the back as we twist. Let's exhale. We're going to release again. Back out to our extended child's pose. Palms into the ground. Facing the mat. Let's release the head. Inhale. Lift the head. Exhale. Let's release the head again. Inhale. Lift the head. And this time, exhale. Let's walk the hands to one side, extending. You can release the head again between the arms. Finding that soothing deep breath here, in and out of the nose. And let's start to exhale. We're going to walk it all the way through center as we walk to the opposite side. Taking nice deep breaths once again as we extend and stretch over. Start to release. Coming back, expand through the palms, the fingers, shoulder width distance apart. We want to come all the way to our downward facing dog. Let's tuck those toes and lift through the glutes. Here we can bend each knee, letting the hips shift side to side, keeping the head between the arms if we can, and a nice strong flat back. Take a deep breath here. Let's exhale, walking back to our toes. Here we have soft knees, grounded feet. Let's give ourselves a hug here as we wrap the arms around the legs. Go ahead and release that. We're going to inhale into our monkey pose. So hands can be on the shins,
Flat back, roll those shoulders back, press the heart forward, looking forward. And let's release the head, keep the back flat, keep the glutes tight as we lift up and over. And exhale, palms come back together, hands to heart. As we find that, we're going to come into some balancing poses here. So let's find length, let's find a spot where we can balance. Make sure that we're hip width distance apart, soft knees. We feel nice and rooted here. So take a few deep breaths. Let's inhale, shoulders up to the ears. And exhale, release. Again, let's inhale, tighten the shoulders up to the ears. And exhale, releasing. Last one, inhale, shoulders up to the ears. And release. We let go here. Our knees are still soft. We're still rooted through the feet. Let's allow the head to move to one side. Still breathing. Let's exhale. Roll that chin down across the chest, all the way over to the other side. We inhale. We gaze forward. We relax our shoulders. We exhale. We draw that chin back down across the chest. And inhale. Gaze forward. Exhale. Back down and across the chest. Inhale as we gaze forward. And let's exhale, bring it all the way down, center chest. Keep it here for a moment. Let's bring our hands interlaced behind our back. Stretch down the back as the hands are interlaced. We're rolling the shoulders back. The heart starts to lift. Our abs and core are tight, grounded feet here. Start to bring the head back to neutral. We're going to exhale, hip hinge here. As we come into our chest expansion, we release the back, the head, the neck, the shoulders, our knees are soft. Let's lift those arms, hands up off the back. And then exhale, we're going to release those hands all the way back to above the knees. Let's inhale, flat back. As we're in a flat back, parallel with the floor, knees soft, grounded feet. Let's move into airplane, palms face down, stretch those arms back. Even lifting up towards the ceiling as we stretch back towards the back wall. And then exhale, hinging up, releasing those arms. Let's inhale, lengthen up and over. And exhale, palms together, hands to heart. Finding balance here. We're shifting to one side. You pick your side. Shifting that way, we're going to lift the opposite knee. As we lift that knee, for some of us, it might be toe tips on the ground. So really check in with your limitations, your body. Make sure that you have balance before lifting all the way up. So let's find that gazing point. Breathing into that gazing point that helps us find balance. And now let's take opposite hand to the knee that is bent. Bring that hand to the lateral side of the knee. And bring the other hand to the hip. If this feels okay and you still have your balance, you can start to bring the gaze to the side. You can even start to elongate that arm towards the back wall. Let's exhale, come back to the hip. Bring the gaze forward. Release the leg. And hopefully you can do it slow and gently. Let's gently walk back and forth for a moment. We're going to move to the opposite leg, soften that knee. And remember, you can have toe touches on the ground here. You can have hands at heart. Maybe this is where our balance is today. Always check in with your body, your limitations, and make sure that we respect that. And then maybe coming up if we can, dorsiflexing the foot, knee bent. Remember, we could stop anywhere along the process. You can also take that other arm opposite to the knee, bring it to the lateral side. Other hand on hip. Lengthen tall, find that point where we gaze and where we can breathe. And then if you can, maybe bringing the gaze to the side. Or maybe bringing it all the way back as that arm extends back behind us. Let's go ahead and exhale, hand on hip, bringing ourselves forward, releasing that leg. Bring back to hip width distance apart. Let's inhale, lengthen up and over. Exhale, forward fold.
Inhale, half back. That means back parallel with the floor, flatten all the way through. Exhale, let's move into chair, hinge at your knees. Make sure knees don't surpass the toes, glutes and hips, hinge back. Keep that nice flat back. Let's bring palms to heart for a moment. Roll those shoulders back. Take a nice deep breath. Let's exhale, release. And as we release and start to stand, let's bring it out into our straddle pose here. As we move into straddle, let's inhale, lengthen up. Exhale, twist open. Keep the feet and hips stable. Let's inhale, lengthen up. Exhale, twist. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, bring the hands all the way down to the hips. Keep those knees soft. Inhale, roll the shoulders back, lift through the heart. Exhale, hinge at the hips. Flat back as we come forward and down. Taking a few deep breaths, maybe relaxing the head. Nice deep breaths. Even bringing the arms down to the legs, maybe the ankles. Maybe they're right below the knees. Wherever you find comfort. And then let's glide those hands all the way back up to the hips. Inhale, come up into that flat back. Exhale, really tighten those glutes and press through our heels as we start to lift that flat back all the way up and over. Inhale, let's bring the arms up and over. Exhale, twist open to one side. Inhale, lengthen up. And exhale to the other side. Inhale, lengthen up. Let's exhale, bring that one arm down to the hip. Release as we exhale, and then inhale, lengthen over, lateral flexion. Exhale, bring it back to center. Inhale, lengthen to the side. Exhale, center. Inhale, lengthen to the side. And exhale, center. Bringing that other hand down to the hip. Inhale, the opposite arm up. Take that deep breath. Let's exhale this time. Inhale, lengthens us back up. And exhale. Inhale, lengthens us up. And exhale. Inhale, lengthen up. Bringing both arms up. And exhale to the hips. Inhale, roll the shoulders back, lift through the heart. Exhale, hinge forward, nice flat back. Bringing hands all the way down. Remember, not a lot of weight and pressure on our hands. Let's try and roll those shoulders back. Maybe heel toe it out a little bit deeper in our straddle as we flatten through the back. Toes point forward, heels behind. Let's bring one hand into center. We're going to have our center straddle twist here. Palm grounded. Let's inhale. Open up to that windmill. And let's exhale. Slowly bring it down. So that was 3 breaths. We're going to come bring the opposite hand in center. And let's inhale. Bring up the other arm for windmill. Exhale, release down. Finding shoulder width distance apart here. Soften those knees. Maybe heel toe a little bit closer. As we heel toe a little bit closer, try and find where we can find ankle-knee alignment as the knees soften and bend. Start to bring those heels inward, toes out diagonally. Now knee-ankle stacks. I can bring my hands right above my knees and start to hinge my hips back as if I'm sitting back. Then I'm going to roll those shoulders back and find a nice length in my back, my abs are tucked in. I'm hinging at my knees. I'm hinging at my hips as the glutes move back. Let's inhale and open up and over. And let's exhale. We're going to come into our moonflower. So hinging back and down, elbows to our rib cage, palms face forward. Inhale. We're going to exhale to moonflower. We're going to stay seated and lengthen here for the first sunflower here as we just move those arms in a big circle. Inhaling up. Exhale, moonflower. Moonflower, bent elbows to the ribcage, palms wide and forward. Inhale. And exhale, sunflower. Option this time to hinge forward from the hips. Keep that nice flat back as we sweep closer to the floor. Then inhale, lengthen all the way back up. Keep palms together across the thumbs. Exhale, lateral flexion. Inhale. And exhale to the other side. Inhale. Exhale, let's release the arms. Walk it back to hip width distance apart. Let's come to the front or back of our mat. Inhale, hip width distance apart, soft knees. Exhale, forward fold. Hands coming down, walking out to our downward facing dog. This time when we're in downward facing dog, keep the knees soft, feet fairly stable, and we're going to shift the hips like a pendulum, rocking side to side. Start to move all the way into our plank pose. Let's move it down to kneeling plank. As we have kneeling plank, bend those knees and shift the feet to one side. Then keep those knees bent, shift the feet to the other side. If you need extra knee pads or pillows under the knees, this would be a good idea. Shifting to the opposite side. Now as we shift to that opposite side, let's find our hand palm on the ground, find alignment with our shoulder, bring knees stacking, and we're coming into that partial side plank. You can have hand on the hip or extension all the way through. Let's go ahead and bring it back down. As we come to shoulder distance apart, our knees come back to center. As we come back to center, hip width distance apart, let's draw those elbows in, move through crocodile, all the way down. And this time, coming into our cobra pose. So let's find where we have cobra. Maybe the shoulders roll back, we squeeze the scapulas together, palms can come up off the ground for our baby cobra. Regular cobra, press into the palms, keep the shoulders rolled back, heart lifted. And remember, you can always have bent elbows as low as you need, or you can lengthen. Just make sure we check in with our back and that this is okay. Roll those shoulders back, press the heart forward, gazing forward and up, remembering our breath. And let's exhale, release all the way down. Inhale, partial plank. And this time we're going to exhale, bring with the opposite hand. As we start to stack the knees, we're coming to the other side for our side plank. Remember, we're having our kneeling side plank, so my knees are stacked, my abs are engaged, I'm elongated from crown to knees. And let's exhale, we're going to bring that back down, coming back to our kneeling plank. And this time we're going to come all the way back into a wide-legged extended child's pose. Nice deep breaths here. Starting to bring it all the way back up. As we do, let's come to our glutes. We're going to have our stuff pose. So let's find that hip width distance apart. You can soften the knees, toes up towards the ceiling, maybe moving side to side, making sure that we can feel our glute bones, our nice stable bones that press into the ground here.
elongate through the back. Coming back to our deep breath here. Let's inhale, shrug the shoulders up high. Let's exhale, fingers forward. Roll those shoulders back and down. Press down into the palms. Press through the arms. Start to stretch those toes towards the nose. You're really tightening those legs now. We have tension through the legs as we squeeze the bone. And we're tightening those abs and lifting all the way through the vertebrae. Our whole body is tense here as we breathe. And let's exhale. We're going to release that. Point the toes. And maybe even move in circles here with the feet while we're relaxed and on the ground. Let's bring it forward here, and as we come to bent knees, let's take one knee, hands around, interlaced, and just draw it right up into the chest. Nice deep breath, and then we're going to exhale and allow the forehead to sink towards the knee. And let's gently release that. We want to move to the other side. So we can interlace the fingers, the other leg stays stable. We're starting to bring that other leg towards the chest, squeeze in tight towards the body. Take a nice deep breath as we elongate through the spine. And then we're going to exhale, release the forehead to the knee. And let's exhale. We're going to release that. So as we release that, we still have bent knees, hip width distance apart. I'm going to come back to that same leg. I'm going to dorsiflex. Opposite hand's going to come to the lateral side of that dorsiflex foot. Then I'm going to keep the other hand on my knee somewhere or below the leg so I can find my balance first as I elongate that leg forward. Now we're not so worried about having a straight leg here as much as our back. So we want our back to lengthen. So if we need to soften the knee to lengthen through our back and then open the shoulders, hand can come to hip. You can look to your side. You can extend that arm all the way out and back. And let's exhale, sweep that back. We're going to release that. We're moving to the other side. So as we move to the other side, keep the other leg stable, bent. Remember, the other hand is at the knee. As we have the hand at the knee, start to pick it up, dorsiflex the foot. Other arm comes all the way around, wraps the hand, wraps around our lateral side of the foot. Start to extend out, but most important, roll those shoulders back, elongate through the back. Hand can be on the hip, we can open, we can extend that arm back. Let's exhale and bring it all the way back. Releasing that. Where we're at, we're coming all the way down. So let's tuck our knees in, round our backs, knees to chest here. And then gently release. Inhaling, hanging on to the knees press away from us. Let's exhale, bring knees to chest, lift the head towards the knees. And inhale, release and lengthen. Exhale again. Knees to chest, head towards the knees. And inhale. Let's exhale, release the soles of the feet. Bring the palms back down. We're going to come back into where we started, our modified bridge. Let's inhale and lift those hips up. As we expand on our inhale, on our exhale, we're contracting and moving right back to navel center as we contract. One more breath here. And let's exhale, gently release the back, bring knees back to the chest. Nice squeeze this time. We can keep our backs laying down, shoulders and head. We're going to release that this time. Open the arms. Let's move the bent knees to one side.
As we do, we have an option to take that side arm and bring it on top of that leg. Let's exhale. We're going to release that. Take a nice deep inhale. As we exhale, let's draw the abs in, draw the knees in, around the back. And we're just going to keep those knees bent. Let's bring them all the way over to the opposite side. Keep the shoulders, arms open, and you can take that same side arm and just bring it right on top of the legs, lateral side, pressing down towards the earth. Let's exhale, release that, draw the abs in, knees to chest, round the back. We're going to give ourselves a hug, letting ourselves rock gently side to side. And now we're starting to relax. We're starting to refocus on our breath as we start to make our way into our Shavasana pose. So for some of us, we may get some pillows or some blankets, maybe a towel rolled up for underneath the neck, or any cushions underneath the knees to help protect our low back. So as we move down into Shavasana, you're welcome to lengthen all the way out. You can open up those feet, lengthen out those legs, open the arms, palms face up, ready to receive. And just take a few moments here. Nice deep breaths as we close the eyes. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. Today we meditate on simply letting go. Relax into each and every breath. Breathing in, breathing out. As we release tension from the body, deepening, relaxing as we focus on our breath. The body relaxes and deepens into the earth. We allow our thoughts to finish and fade away with every breath. We take an inner journey, deepening our understanding of our inner universe. We are safe with Earth as our foundation. We solidify and build from our root chakra as we release fear. Breathing in, breathing out, we find a flow, a rhythm. Feeling fluid, we release guilt as we find our passions, goals, dreams, hopes, and desires. We build self-trust.
We let go of shame and transform our ideas into reality, action within our solar plexus. We find inner strength and self-discipline that moves us into the breath of the heart. Liberation and freedom is within the heart as we soar high, spreading our wings. We let go of grief, pain, sadness. We fill our heart with joy and gratitude, breathing freely, feeling lighter. We begin to purify our thoughts and speech as we balance with truly listening and hearing, observing our inner workings, slowing down and filtering. Our truth arises within us as we are quiet. We journey into letting go of the mind stuff, quieting the mind. As it clears, we allow our inner wisdom to guide us. We feel even lighter as we continue to let go, letting go of attachment, releasing all that we have ever known, opening us into the infinite field of pure potentiality. Breathing in and breathing out. We expand our mind. No limitations. We are all expressions of universal consciousness. We now experience the expansion of love, joy, compassion, and harmony. Breathing in, breathing out. Deepening the breath as we slowly allow our senses to move from inside ourselves to relax. As we let go of fear, guilt, shame, letting go of grief, oppression. Letting go of illusion. And now finally letting go of all attachments. As we move into the infinite space, we find a clear mind and infinite wisdom as we connect to our inner being, our inner world. As we continue to deepen the breath, we start to bring our awarenesses, our senses, moving from the inside to the out, coming back to the room, coming back to our breath. As we come back to the breath, we bring movement back. We start to move our fingers, our toes. We take a moment to center, to feel relaxed as we bring movement back. After we allow movement, stretching, we can move to the side into our fetal position. And we could start to sit back up. Thank you for joining me for yoga today. Namaste.